So, I was given this box. I have no idea what's in this box. I thought we'd go through it together. Welcome to the G. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects going on here, no theme music, none of that fancy schmancy stuff at all. Fingers crossed that the audio doesn't go. I haven't had a problem the past couple of videos, but we'll see what happens. So there's a couple that couldn't fit in the box. They gotta be moved to a new box. Oh, and please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Fridays. The last few have not been garbled, so they're good. Chain of Command, the one where Picard gets brain. I just don't like that one at all, and I say so in the thing. So please check those out. Don't forget If Thens. I got a little carried away with Halloween. Then we got into Thanksgiving. We're headed into Christmas now. So please check all those out. So I have not seen these books before. So I'm sharing these with you for the first time. Jade, Legacy, Fonda Lee. What did it say? Jade, the mysterious and magical substance once exclusive to green bone warriors, is now coveted throughout the world. Everyone wants access to the supernatural abilities it provides. As the struggle over Jade grows larger and more deadly, the Cow family and the ancient ways of the Kenosis, green bones will never be the same. David Drake. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, I hate these stickers. Cinnaball is a piece. Like Lieutenant Daniel Leary and Signals Officer Adele, uh, must find other work. They're escorting a pair of wealthy nobles on an expedition to the back of beyond. The Princess Seal and the corvette in which they carved their reputation in letters of fire has been sold as a private yacht, but she still has her guns, her missiles, her veterans crew. Ah, my nose. The King's Privateer, Dewey Lamboy. Oh, I forgot to check. Let me just check this. 2003. 1783, His Majesty's secret agent, back from the war in the Americas, young Navy veteran Alan Leary finds London pure pleasure. Then at Plymouth, he boards the trading ship Telso to find why merchants are disappearing in the Indies between the pungent shores of Calcutta and teeming Canton, Louis. Reunited with his scoundrel father, discovers a young French captain backed by an armada of Madeiran pirates on a plundering rampage. While treaties tie the Navy's hands, a king's privateer is free to plunge into the fire and blood of dirty little war on the high China South Seas. And 1992. Elizabeth H. Boyer, The Troll's Grindstone. To escape his enemies, Liffer agreed to impersonate the long-lost Fridmar, but Fridmar was one of the Alfar, as Leif learned when he was taken into the legendary Alfar realm and given a magic jewel to aid the deception. Fridmar, he soon discovered, was hated by everyone. 40 years before, he had betrayed his people by helping the evil, powerful wizard Sokar despoil their land and destroy their weapons with a spell. Not content with that, Fridmar had betrayed Sokar, and Sokar had vowed to torture him to death if he ever appeared in the realm again. Uh, can't pull the pages apart. 1986. The Thrall and the Dragon's Heart. Brake just wanted to help Ingold, the elfin girl who was cursed by the witch queen's Hortus to act as a hag. He never expected his efforts to lead him through the strange gate to the world of Alfar, where the dark elves were fighting to destroy all the light elves. As humble thrall, he had no business there. 1982. One we've heard of before. King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. A legend is born when young Arthur meets Merlin and draws the mighty sword from its stone. 2015. Oh, good lord. Elizabeth H. Boyer, The Curse of the Slag Fist. Fid. In Lee's efforts to recover the lost love, Leosha and Third's attempt to escape the Inquisitors, they had fallen into the hands of the evil master wizard Dufold. Dufold had tricked them into swearing in blood that they would destroy the curse that afflicted Hillstead on return to serve his vile plans. 1989. Harry Brooks, The Tangled Box. Oh, what a tangled web. For everything should have been quiet and pleasant for Ben Holliday, former Chicago lawyer, became sovereign of the magic kingdom of Landover. But it wasn't. Horace Q, conjurer, confidence man, and trickster, had returned to Landover from Ben's own world. Alas, Horace had not returned on his own volition. He had been sent by the Gorse, a sorcerer of great evil, whom Horace had unwillingly freed from the magic tangle box, where it had long ago been imprisoned by the fairy boaks. Now it had returned to enslave those who had once dared contemn it. 1994. Here's Anthony, a new Xanax novel, Dragon on a Pedestal. The Gap dragons had escaped from the Gap and was ravaging across the land. The forget spell that had covered the Gap was breaking up in small forget horrors that wandered about, giving amnesia to all they touched. Good Magic Comfy might have had the answer, but he had overdosed on water from the Fountain of Youth and was only in a hapless baby. Mary Brown, The Unlikely Ones. I can't see. There's no. Of your actual meeting with the dragon, if indeed you reach him, I will say nothing, for that is still the realms of conjecture. What I can say is this: in order to reach the dragon, you have a long and terrible journey ahead of you, one that will tax you all to the utmost, and may even find one or another of you tempted to give up and to leave the others and to return. If that happens, then you are all doomed, for I must have a chance, but even press upon you that the 7 you are now, your chances of survival would be halved. Ah, Jack L. Chandler, The River of Dancing Gods. Oh, wait a second. 1986. Jack L. Chalker, The River of Dancing Gods. Life had not been kind to Joe and Marge. Now, according to the stranger who met them on a road that wasn't there, they were due to die in 19 minutes 18 seconds. But the ferry boat that waited to take them across the sea of dreams could bring them to a new and perhaps better life. 1984. Joe Clayton, Diadem from the Stars. Far out among the stars and masterminds of spider people had placed their mightiest mysteries in the scientific devices called the diadem. And when that coronet was stolen, they were prepared to pursue it through eternity. 1977. Soul Rider. Spirits of Flux and Anchor. Jack Chandler. Cassie did not feel the soul rider enter her body, but suddenly she knew that Anchor was corrupt and that far from being a formless void, which could issue only mutants challenging and evil wizards, Flux was the source of the Anchor's very existence. Ah, the cyborgs and the sorcerers. Start the Cyborg War had been ordered to kill the enemies of Earth and return with their weapons technology. His robot spacecraft was to see that he did and kill him if he didn't. Problem was, Earth has perished 300 years before, but no one had told the ship. 1982. Ernest K. Gann, the High and Mighty. What began as a routine flight on the Gray Run from Honolulu to San Francisco soon becomes a nightmare race against time and the dwindling fuel supply. Here is the tense and gripping novel and men and women face to with almost certain death in the air or in the cold night waters of the Pacific. With the same quiet excitement that made the Queen Mutiny so popular, Ernest K. has created a novel of such mounting suspense that it may leave you dry-mouthed. 1953. Wow, talk about old. Box is getting me. Lloyd Arthur Eshbos, The Scroll of Lucifer. 3 times Alan MacDougall has passed through the strange gates in the ruined Scottish tower to find himself in worlds of Lucifer, where the demon gods lived on. There, unknown to them, Armand ruled lieutenant to the Prince of Evil, and sought to entrap Alan in serving his master's foul plots of conquest. 1990. Mountain Man, Vardis Fisher. It was already said by mountain men and would have been said by eagles and wolves if they could talk, that his sense of sight was that of falcon of smell and that of wolf. 1965. Elizabeth Boyer, The Elves and the Otterskin. The reluctant hero. Ivar had been sold to Witch Burner, but now Burner was dead. Slain by the evil sorcerer Lorma, Ivar was stranded in the land of elves. His only chance to return to his own realm was to become a hero for a group of outcast, incompetent elves and a wizard of doubtful qualifications. As he discovered, being a hero was a little difficult. First, he had to seek out a magic sword concealed somewhere in the land of the fire giants. Then, to seize a hoard of gold, he must somehow find and destroy a terrible dragon. 1981. Joe Clayton, Shadow of the War Master. Kept a world enchained, world so secret that only the piratical slave Boldero Nogero lieutenant knew its exact location. But now Bolado lieutenant had made a crucial mistake. They had stolen the daughter of Aldor Ash, ahead of the top-rated interstellar security system, and Aldor would use any means at her disposal to get her daughter back. 1988. Lord Arthur Eshbach, The Land Beyond the Gate. Alan MacDougall stood in the middle of the road and cursed. He could see nothing in the thick wall of fog around him. But what did that matter? No one could see him either. After all, he was invisible. Being invisible was only one of the strange things that had happened to him since entering the land created by Satan for the long-gone daughters of Lilith. He had fought and killed with a sword that was guided by the magic of God. He loved and been loved by a princess 1400 years old and still young. So far, he had even managed to elude the Druids and the evil gods who sought to use him as a tool for the escape into the other world. 1984. A. Atticenio Wyvern. In 1609, a time when navigation was more art than science, when the whole wide world was thought of as plunder, this is the time when Jackie Gaffon was born in the dark jungle of Borneo. A fair-skinned half-breed lackey is outcast as a devil child, until he emerges from the jungle and enters upon an epic adventure through times of violence, treachery, mysticism, love, and awesome thrilling adventure. 1988. The Nine Gates, Philip Bruggelet. When Gopal, the carefree princess of Golok, sees his teacher burst into flames and the many-armed Varbaga rampage through the sacred temple of Durga, he is convinced that the gods have turned the universe inside out. He must learn to accept responsibility and perform a Vaidhi, a test beyond imagination, but in order to survive, he must secure help from centuries-old mystic named Vanessa. 1992. Harry Brooks, The Black Unicorn. A year had passed since Ben Holliday brought the Magic Kingdom from the Wizard Meeks, who had set a series of pitfalls against him. But Ben survived by the aid of the three loyal friends, Questar Threws, an ill-trained wizard, Abernathy, a talking dog, the court scribe, and the lovely Willow, who sometimes had to be a tree. But Ben had been troubled by dreams of disaster to his former partner, Miles Bennett. Yet when he returned to Earth, Ben found Miles doing splendidly. 1987. Elizabeth Boyer, The Wizard and the Warlord. Sigurd grew up his grandmother bothered only by trolls that seemed bent on destroying their settlement. Then she died, leaving him a mysterious box he couldn't open and a confused warning against some dread world, a wizard he couldn't be sure of which her from her final ravings. Then the grim warlord Halfdane came to abduct him by force into the realm of the Alfar. 1983. Oh, good God. Missing persons, Robert Aspen. Skeeves is in a royal pickle this time. His partner, Alza, has disappeared and it looks like a foul play. Finding Asa ought to be a snap for a talented magician like Skeeve, especially with a sassy apprentice and a dumb but brawny bodyguard along for the ride. 1984. Soul Rider Book 2, Jack L. Chalker. It was a slow recovery from a battle between titanic forces of good and evil. A grand alliance had been fought to fight humanity's battle, for good had not won the final victory. The 9 rulers of hell had formed their own empire and planned to invade their world, first subverting humans to their own unholy use. 1984. Elizabeth H. Boyer, The Dragon's Carbuncle. Being a scribbling in the land of Altfa was growing increasingly difficult. Lefa learned, even with Andalius' doubt, the magic ruby sword his friend Third the wizard had taken by the Fire Wizards Guild for the Inquisition, and his beloved Louisa was now in the hands of Sokar's least dreaded wizard enemy, now brought to a semblance of life again. 1990. Misnomers and Imperfections, Robert Aspen. How could a thick-headed demon be so thin-skinned? But Azza, Skeev's friend and mentor, has taken exception to something his partner has said and left in a huff. It was just a misunderstanding. Now it's Skeev's job to apologize for his thoughtlessness, behavior, and convince his scaly cohort to rejoin the firm. 1987. The Lloyd Arthur Eshbach, The Sorceress of Seath. Uh, Isle of the Demon Gods. Once again, Alan McDougall has forced to return to the world of Lucifer to save his beloved Espet, but this time when he entered the third gate from the ruined tower, he found the Isle of Sea far different from the other 2 worlds he had seen. There were worlds of the former Celtic gods, but the Skaith had placed ruled by the rebellious demons who had been the gods of the ancient Sumerian, Chaldea and Babylon. Their Skaith legendary sources of Skaith vied for control with the demons Amarduk. 1988. So have you heard of any of these? Seen any of these before? Heard of these? Some of these authors I have heard of. Drake and all. I've heard of them. Misdirection, Robert Aspen. The trophy was unique, no question. It was easily the ugliest object Skeeve had ever been seen in any dimension. And before landing his job as court magician, the young Skeeve had seen a thing or two. 1982. The Sable Moon, Nancy Springer. Third book of Isle, like a misty fog, a dark force rolls over the Isles of Wellis. Now proud-hearted Prince Trevor must embark on the quest to free the Isle of Evil's grip and realize their own legend's destiny. 1981. Damn, I was hoping for some of my authors, and I didn't hear. Joe Clayton, Shadow Play. When she stumbled on a kidnapping process, Shadith, captive for centuries in the alien artifact known as the Diadem, now once again living in a human form, finds herself the prisoner of Genus Sybil, a being who has instigated devastating wars on world after world, purely to film and self-limit editions of resulting of violence, destruction, and death. 1990. Barbara Hambly, The Witches of Wensar. Once it was said Wensar had been a city of witches, summoning and controlling demons for their evil magic. Wensar had destroyed, and the witches were supposedly no more. But in nearby Tandris, Callis claimed to found their lost book of spells. Sunwolf had come there with Starhawk, hoping to learn more of magic from Kelith, as he had discovered in Mandragine a talent for wizardry. Without adequate training was undoubtedly dangerous thing, and now despite Kelith's claim to use only pure white magic, he found increasingly signs of evil magic and demon spells. 1987. Last two. Jack El Chalker, Medusa. The Confederate Grand seemed to be working. They had substituted the mind of their best operative for the mind of 4 criminals. Everyone had a top assassin and sent on to each of the 4 warden warlords to eliminate the resident of their... The agents on Lilith, Siberius, and Cameron had already reported in success. (1983) And our final book, Mike Jeffries' Hidden Echoes. In the modest Manhattan digs, Henry Murmurs never dreamed in his California studio, Dent Abba would never imagine that his dreams and novels prophesied in another world. In her cozy Cambridge apartment environment, Maya Capthorne despaired of finding others who shared her terror. 1992. So what did you think? Huh? What did you think? Heard of these books before? Seen these books before? Heard of these authors before? These are interesting. They're definitely interesting. I'm gonna put these all back. So what do you think? 9 Gates. The Elves and the Otterskin. Feels like I've heard of that before. Clayton. Sable. Demi. Susurrus. Let's do this. There we go. Books you've never heard of before. Have you heard of these books? Please don't forget to check out Flashback Monday and If Then Friday afternoons. Also, my If Thens earlier, I did Black authors, I did Native American authors, I did Harlequins, I did romances, I did mysteries, I did homicides, I did forensics. I've done the Bridgertons. I've done the Mallorys, the Lawrence, the Millers. Please check all those books out, and please hit the like and subscribe. And let me know if you've seen any of these before, because they are really, really old. How's it going there? Have a good one.